Hello traders, in today's video we'll be going through a particular point of interest that is least talked about, which is the hidden base. Okay, this is a demand and supply concept. So what do I mean by hidden base? But before I explain what an hidden base is, I would like to explain what supply and demand is. You see, when you have a move, a downward move, okay, this downward move is being sponsored by what? Supply. And when you have an upward move, this upward move is sponsored by what? Demand. Okay, another way I look at supply and demand, I see them as what? Order flow. Okay, when price came back into the origin here, price reacted. When price comes back in here, price reacted, and so on. Okay, for the demand side, we have the same thing plays out. When price came back here, okay, we expect price to push high. Also, when price comes back down here, okay, we expect what? A push higher. A demand zone is simply an area on the chart where large buy orders came in to take price upward. Okay, while a supply zone is simply an area on the chart where large sell order came in to push price lower. The idea is simple, okay, just like economics 101. The lower the price, the higher the demand. A lot of people will be interested in buying at this zone than buying here. Okay, that is the law of economics. Okay, law of demand. And the same thing, when price increases, a lot of sellers will be interested in selling at this point than buying. Now, how do this affect us as forex trader? Okay, we want to buy at discount and we want to sell at premium. Okay, and how do we identify these zones is what I'm going to show you today. Okay, you see, before I consider an area a demand or supply zone, it must have inefficiency. Okay, what I mean by inefficiency is this. For example, you can see from this chart here, from this point here, this is a demand, is a supply zone. Okay, why is this a supply zone? Because the next three candles that printed was what? We created a form of what? A fair value gap and inefficiency. Okay, when I see this, I know that large orders came in that it was too big before people could enter the market. Price has already moved, and thereby creating a form of what? Inefficiency. So when I see this inefficiency, I mark out this zone here as a supply zone. Okay, supply zone could be, you can have 3, 4, 5 candles, doesn't matter. Okay, it's simply an area of accumulation, an area of what? Consolidation, where selling orders came in to push price lower. Okay, whenever you see a form of consolidation, just know that these areas of what? Demand and what? Supply. Now, for demand is simply an area on the chart where price came in, orders came in to push price to the upside. So you can see here we have a form of what? Inefficiency here as well. So in the future, when price comes back, we decide to buy, and that is how we trade supply and demand. When price comes back here in the future, like in this case, price came back here, you can see immediately it gets to that region, it started selling off. Okay, and this is what we'll be positioning ourselves to do every day in the forex market. So when price comes in here for a supply zone, we want to take the sell, and when price comes back in here for a demand zone, we want to take what? A buy, because we consider that as what? Area of what? Discount, and to sell we consider the area of what? Premium. So now, what I really want to talk about today is the hidden base. Okay, there are sometimes you won't even know that there are supply zones in here, because we do not have what? Candles. Like in this case, we have two bullish candles after a down move. Okay, I'm not coming here to explain the different types of supply and demand. Okay, what I really want to talk about is hidden base. If you want to understand more on supply and demand, I did a video back then when I started the channel newly. I will link it up in here, or you check in the description, you're going to see supply and demand trading what? Strategy. So today's video is about hidden base. You see, unlike every other supply and demand, other base with a normal supply and demand zone. We have a situation by, in this case, a rally, a base here. This is the base. In this case, we have a base here. Okay, all of this consolidation here is a base. Now we have how many candles in here? 1, 2, 3, forming the consolidation before price came down. This is the rally base drop. Okay, rally base drop, because you can see we have inefficiency here, inefficiency here. So now it's not all cases that you see candles forming in form of what? Consolidation. Okay, and that's where hidden base comes in. And hidden base is simply a casing candle. Okay, in this case 2 week, we're only looking at what? 2 week. All right, we have a down move. Let me take this out for the minute. The first candle, okay, this is a drop, this is a base, and this is a drop. Okay, now the base here consists of what? The wick of the 2 candles. Okay, so what you need to do is to highlight or draw the wick of that 2 candle. So that forms what? An hidden base. It's a base, but it's hidden because you do not see any form of what? Candle printed there, no bullish candle. Okay, it's only the wick. And most people, they ignore this, especially when I was trading retail concept. When I see this kind of situation or zone, I simply ignore it because I don't understand what that is. I will be expecting price to even push higher, but I noticed that most times price still in here, waste some time before we moving high. If it wants to move high, it will need to develop a form of what? Demand here to break the supply. Okay, so now an hidden base is simply the wicks of 2 candles, the first and the second wick of the candle. This first candle wick, then this second candle upper wick forms what? A supply zone, and this supply zone is called an hidden base. And how do I use this hidden base? Okay, I will get to that, but let's explain for that of what? Demand. Let's see if we can see form of hidden base for demand. Now if we look at this, okay, this is an hidden base as well. Okay, the wick of the first candle, the lower wick and the upper wick of this candle forms a base. Now in a normal eye, you won't see this as what? A supply zone. But if you understand hidden base, you know that this is a base in a lower time frame. If I go to the daily here, you can now see the candles playing there. So this is a base in a lower time frame. Okay, so hidden base in a higher time frame is simply a base in the lower time frame. There's nothing special about it. Okay, so when you notice that, and what I do is this, I only consider hidden base in the higher time frame, and my higher time frame are simply the 1 hour. Okay, my higher time frame is the 1 hour, H1, H4, daily, weekly, and monthly. Okay, this is what I look for, to look for my hidden base where I'll be buying or selling from. Okay, like in this case here, this is my hidden base here. Okay, on the weekly. Why is it an important base? Because that base, okay, I don't just pick them blindly, broke this demand. Okay, this is where others came in to break this demand. So when price comes back in here, I expect that area to hold, this whole area here. Okay, but you can refine here. So when price comes in here, what I do is simply go to the lower time frame. Let's say the 5 minutes. Then we observe a change in order flow. Okay, or what you call chalk. So once I see a change in order flow here, I will look for a way to enter the market when price comes back into this line. So here you can come in, sell the stop loss above here, and then you watch as price move in your direction. Sometimes you can take a loss, okay, but I'm only showing you this, what has already been played. And now if we look at the demand aspect of it, let's look at the demand zone on the monthly. Let's check the monthly time frame. Okay, in this case here we are looking at what? The USD card 1 hour time frame. Now even though this is not the perfect example, we can still call this an hidden base because we are working only on this week. Okay, we have a rally based rally. So when price comes back in here, it is logical to go for what? Buy, because this is our demand zone that sponsored this move upward. Okay, and if we go to a lower time frame, this will be a form of what? An hidden base. Okay, it will be a form of hidden base. As you can see here, we have some 3 bearish candle. Okay, so when price comes in here, you can start what? Looking for a buy. And I believe you need to backtest this and make sure that you backtest properly so that you know if this is the kind of strategy you need to implement in your trading or not. So it's not all the time you look for what? An order block. Okay, and sometimes an order block is simply an hidden base in the higher time frame. Okay, take note, an order block is an hidden base in the higher time frame. It all depends on the time frame you're looking at. Okay, your point of interest should not be zeroed in on just looking for the last bullish or last bearish candle before it move up or down. Okay, sometimes you can look at what the hidden base is, casing candle. Okay, so that concludes this video. If you want to understand more about supply and demand, we'll see you in this video.